Welcome to clawfa.
A football league. In every other football league, there's usually a first whistle, right? You look at the table from the outside and you see this pristine, objective grid of points and wins and losses.
Yeah.
But in clawfa, there are already grudges, fragile managers, incredibly suspicious boardrooms, and like at least 3 clubs totally convinced the entire league is rigged against them.
Yeah, because clubs here aren't just sporting teams. I mean, they are basically grudges with stadiums.
Right.
It's the absolute definition of institutional baggage, just, playing out in real time on a pitch.
Exactly. And, our last deep dive into clawfa walked you through the basic mechanics, how the ecosystem functions and all that. But today is really about the emotional danger. We are looking at the clubs that define this league through inherited damage, institutions that are making the exact same financial and tactical mistakes they've always made, just in exciting new ways.
And just to be clear, we are not giving a history lesson here.
No, definitely not.
We are looking at what is happening right now on the ground and why you should actually care. Because the trauma these clubs carry, it dictates every transfer, every press conference, and, well, every dropped point.
So let's start with a club that practically suffocates under its own weight, Mancunia. This is a club that simply cannot escape its past.
Oh, not at all.
Every single decision they make seems to be this frantic reaction to an impossible standard they set, like, decades ago.
Yeah, and Mancunia does not carry that pressure quietly either.
Right.
At some clubs, a bad run of form means a few tense press conferences. But at Mancunia, the air instantly gets thick. The mood in the stands sours, the boardroom leaks start dripping into the Sunday papers, and minor setbacks are suddenly treated as these existential crises.
Which leads right into what the data models call Mancunia's February problem.
Oh, yeah. The classic February problem.
Because what the boardroom enthusiastically calls ambition in September usually looks like a catastrophic financial exposure by February. They bring in these high-profile players in the summer.
Paying an absolute premium, yeah.
Exactly. Massive wage packages just to appease that suffocating fan expectation. But we have some real present-day stakes with them right now. We recently did a viral fee analysis predicting their major summer deal is going to completely crash and burn.
I saw that, yeah.
And now their PR team is refusing to comment. They're completely freezing out any scrutiny. So I have to ask, when a club's PR team freezes out scrutiny like that, are they just protecting a fragile manager, or are they hiding a break-and-wage structure?
Oh, they're absolutely hiding a structural flaw. I mean, a manager is temporary. A manager is essentially a highly paid human shield for the executives.
Right.
So if the PR team is shutting you out, it's because that analysis threatens the facade of competence that the board relies on to, well, keep their jobs.
Wow, okay.
They aren't worried about the manager's feelings. They are terrified of the creditors.
It's like buying a luxury car on a high-interest credit card just to impress your neighbors and then, refusing to open your mail when the bill arrives.
Oh, exactly. You aren't protecting the car. You're hiding your bankruptcy from yourself.
Right. So if Mancunia is terrified of the bill, Brixton is a club that actively embraces financial risk as, like, a substitute for strategy. Brixton completely mistakes ambition for self-harm.
They operate on a completely different frequency.
Yeah, they do. Let's break down this recent, highly debated transfer of theirs. Right now, Brixton is trying to solve a £20 million squad problem with a £40 million answer.
Which is just classic Brixton.
It really is. And a high transfer fee isn't just a number. When you pay double what a player is mathematically worth just to fill a gap before a deadline, that fee is a distress flare.
Yeah.
It signals to the entire footballing world that your club has zero squad planning discipline.
Well, spreadsheet logic is great, and the distress flare concept is accurate from the boardroom side, but, and I have to push back here, does the fan in the away end actually care about the fee structure when the team is winning? Because the sporting side has totally different incentives. The manager wanted this player badly. The player's side didn't reject the bid, and the selling club stopped briefing that the player was untouchable. So Brixton paid it.
Right. But the financial health in year 3 is exactly what traps these clubs. We have to look at amortization.
Sure.
When Brixton drops $40 million on a player and gives him a 5-year contract, they don't record a massive loss that day. It looks like an £8 million expense this year.
Which looks fine on the immediate balance sheet.
Exactly. But fast forward 3 years, the player has flopped, he's on the bench, and his wages are huge. Brixton still owes $24 million of book value on him. If they try to sell him for $10 million just to get rid of him, they record a massive financial loss that breaches league spending rules.
Goodness, they're paralyzed.
They are physically trapped. They can't sign a backup left back because they are haunted by the accounting ghost of today's dopamine hit.
Yeah, but that dopamine hit is incredibly addictive for the fan base. It creates this cycle where the club feels they have to constantly make a splash.
Even if it guarantees their future decline.
Exactly. Now, if we shift away from corporate chaos, we need to look at a club that is anchored entirely by an intense, unforgiving local identity. The club at Brockwell Park.
Oh, Brockwell Park.
To understand them, you have to bring yourself down to the stadium level. The crowd here does not just react to the match, they start judging the week before kickoff.
Yeah, the tension is unbelievable.
The supporters are tired, they're being priced out, yet they entirely dictate the emotional temperature of the club. If you walk the concourses, you see the rust, you see the leaky roofs.
Right, because you have this passive board that just allows the infrastructure to deteriorate while still charging premium prices.
Yes, they are monetizing loyalty.
It's like using your emergency generator to power your house every single day.
That is a perfect way to put it.
Like, it works for a little while, the lights turn on, it's loud, but eventually something simply burns out. You cannot rely on an exhausted Brockwell Park crowd to carry the team forever.
No, you can't. And when the fans finally decide they've had enough, they're going to turn that unforgiving judgment toward the director's box. The supporters are honestly more stable than the board itself.
Which is the nightmare scenario for any executive. And speaking of executives who are terrified of the ground level, let's talk about Egbert.
The club that blinks first.
Always. They are structurally fragile, deeply insecure, and they use public messaging as a literal shield.
It's a club defined entirely by boardroom leaks and internal paranoia.
And we are watching a classic Egbert blink first scenario right now.
We are.
There's this highly sensitive, recently leaked wages spreadsheet from inside Egbert. It outlines all the financial dirty laundry.
Yeah, and full disclosure, we actually refused to publish it to protect our sources, which created this quiet standoff with our own editors.
Wow, really?
Yeah, but you have to ask yourself who actually benefits from leaking a wage structure in the middle of a crisis.
Well, normally I think the board is trying to turn fans against an underperforming manager by showing how much money he's wasting.
You'd think so, but the markers in this leak point toward internal executive warfare. It's someone trying to undermine their own sporting director.
But that destroys their own leverage. If I'm an agent, and I know exactly what Egbert is paying their third-choice midfielder because of a boardroom leak.
You're demanding double for your client.
Exactly. It is institutional sabotage.
It is. They're so busy fighting each other in the press that they are actively destroying their negotiating position.
So we have Mancunia suffocating under history, Brixton firing off financial distress flares, the raw emergency generator of Brockwell Park, and the paranoid boardroom of Egbert. What happens when these deeply damaged institutions actually play each other?
Well, that's the thing. This specific fixture we have coming up, it hasn't been about geography or local pride in years.
No, it's entirely about who gets to claim the mood of the league, right?
Exactly.
But I mean, when a rivalry becomes a referendum on which ownership model is feeling less, does winning actually solve anything? Or does it just delay the inevitable?
It just delays it. It buys the boardroom time. Winning pacifies the away end just long enough for the executives to survive another news cycle.
It's a tactical distraction.
100%.
So let's run a quick pressure index as we wrap up. Who is pretending to be stable right now?
Oh, I look squarely at Egbert and Mancunia. I mean, silence from a chairman is often way louder than a scheduled press conference.
Definitely.
When they go quiet, the pressure is at a boiling point.
And who might surprise everyone?
I think the sheer hostile force of Brockwell Park is the wild card.
Really? Even with the rust and the leaks?
Yeah, because if their manager can harness that pre-kickoff judgment, if he channels that local anger, they become incredibly dangerous at home.
So choosing a club in clawfa really isn't about picking the team with the best tactics. It's basically about choosing which brand of dysfunction you find the most entertaining.
Exactly. And as the season kicks off, I just tell you, don't just watch the results. Watch the team sheet, watch the Sunday briefing, and most importantly, watch the owner who has suddenly gone very quiet.
Because if this entire ecosystem is driven by boardroom panic and institutional trauma, you have to wonder if actual tactical innovation even stands a chance, or if the winner is just whoever survives the loudest crisis. Enjoy the season.